Hi, as we move into week 3, I wanted to provide a review of how to paraphrase a poem. Not only will you need to paraphrase poems on the midterm and the final, but paraphrasing really impacts our understanding and deepens our experience of the poems that we read. So I've included a few steps here. These are basically representing what's in chapter 1 with some additional details. So when you're paraphrasing a poem, you want to read the poem over at least 2 times before you begin your paraphrase. Be sure to look up words that you don't know, words that seem especially important, words that might be used in an unusual or unique way. Then begin paraphrasing by going line by line through the poem and putting the poet's words into your own words. That doesn't mean just exchanging words for synonyms. It's fine to include some synonyms, but you're really trying to do more than just swap out words, right? You're trying to put into your own language what you understand the poem to say. To do that, you might need to rearrange the order of some of the words in 1 or 2 lines, or maybe several lines in the poem, so that the original meaning still comes across accurately, even though you've changed the words being used. And then finally, try to write your paraphrase out in complete sentences. This means that you have to fill in some blanks, often because poets will compress the meaning into fewer words, and that's a good way to check if you're fully understanding what's being said. I want to point out that your paraphrase will often be as long or longer than the original poem. The poem that you paraphrased in the first quiz was Those Winter Sundays by Robert Hayden. And in general, people were really clear about what was happening in the first 2 stanzas. But when we came to the 3rd stanza, and particularly the last couple of lines, there was some confusion, and I think primarily because of Hayden's use of the word offices. Some people interpreted the poem to mean that the father was actually working during the week in an office, was away from home, was possibly lonely because he was at an office. But what we know from stanza 1 is that he has cracked hands that ache because he's been laboring, he's been working during the week out in the weather. So we know that the father's work during the week is manual labor done out of doors, which of course makes the fact that on Sundays, where he should be resting, he's getting up early, going outside to do more labor. It makes that action more poignant. So if he's not going to work in an office, what does the word offices mean in this particular poem? Well, it means the duties of the father. Often the offices are duties that have a ritualistic sense to them. They're often connected to religious ceremony. So you might want to then think about how this poem is demonstrating a kind of ritual on Sunday mornings, and the duties, which are austere and lonely. All right, so austere, they're not luxurious, they're not comfortable. They're probably unadorned and plain. How those duties that the father performs are duties of love and done in a ritualistic way. If you have more questions about how to paraphrase or why to paraphrase, please let me know and I can work with you by email, in person, or on a phone call.